Alex Revell, a third meeting against Burton coming up on Saturday. It was 4-0 last time in the EFL Trophy. Is it going to be as comprehensive as that again?
Well, I'd like to think so, but no, listen, they've obviously had a change of manager and got someone in there that's extremely experienced. And obviously they're desperate to turn things around in the second half of the season. So I think we've looked at them a lot now and seen the differences that Gary's brought to them. And it doesn't matter who you play in this league; it's always going to be a challenge. Every game is like that. It doesn't matter whether it's top, bottom, middle. We've seen that, and we have to make sure that when we play the teams that are below us, that we put in the type of performance that we've put in against teams that are above us. So it's always a challenge, but we've got to make sure that we're recovered and fully focused now for 2025, which is a big push. I've asked the players today to really come together now and turn the draws that we've had into wins, and to have a lot that demand on us to go and win games. And training this morning was reflected, hopefully, the meeting, because it was a really good standard, and seems like having everyone back together again is driving the players, which is what we want.
Well, it was a draw last time out against Lincoln, but there was so many positives to take from that performance going forward, especially. It's just about getting that ball in the net, isn't it?
Yeah, stats don't lie, do they? Ultimately, for us, goals and have been not an issue, but it's been something we have to improve on. But that's everybody. That's set pieces. That's not just forward players. That's midfielders releasing and getting into the box, and in terms of crosses, not turning down crosses when we get the opportunity. So that's all a thing that we have to improve and get better at. I think that was all that was missing in terms of that from Lincoln, in terms of the display, in terms of each and every player. They proud of all of them because the amount of effort they put in over that Christmas period, and Lincoln, some of the football, especially first half, was excellent. But you don't want to keep saying that because you want to win games. And the big push, I think, for us is that those types of games we've had 0-0, obviously Northampton, and I thought probably Northampton was probably in that middle period. It was probably just a bit lacklustre at times, and I think that it was a tough, difficult game with the way they made it. But what we did ask them is to bounce back in terms of how we play and our energy and our intensity to go forward, and we saw that. And ultimately, we've had enough chances in that game. We had a fantastic chance second half to go ahead. And if you don't take those opportunities, they're hard to come by. It doesn't matter. You watch the Wycombe Huddersfield on Tuesday night. Huddersfield go there, have 5 shots, win 1-0. Wycombe 19 shots. So absolutely, it's about creating more. But what it's about is when you do get those moments in front of goal, you have to be ruthless. You have to be clinical. You have to take accountability and ownership of making sure that you make the opportunity count, and that needs to happen. That needs to be shown, and we have to improve.
It's almost confidence, isn't it? It's just that little extra belief that right, I'm going to stick this ball in the net, and no one's going to stop us. It's getting that into your head when you go out onto the pitch, and sometimes as humans, we sort of hang on.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think because Tyrese, for instance, against Lincoln, did magnificently well to get on, great cross, movement, great. You get there, and then it's about that moment, about decision being ice cold, and having that ruthlessness. Yeah, absolutely. It's about when you're in there, when you've scored, 10, 15 goals as a player, you tend to, that just comes off a different part of your head and goes in the bottom corner. So what you've got to do is when you're in those, you have to be ruthless, and you have to make sure that if this ball's going down there, I might need to go in with it and take everything with it, and it's just that's what we need to become. And sometimes you overthink it as a centre forward. You end up practicing non-stop outside, and you overthink it. The best types of players that are the finishers are just the ones that it's natural and you just do what's instinctive. And ultimately that's what we have to promote. We have to keep building that with the players. But we do it as a team. I said it. It's not just centre forwards. It's everyone. Everybody's responsible for 13 clean sheets in 23 games. Everybody. It's not just defensively. It's not just the goalkeeper. It's every single player, because they work extremely hard for each other. We have to have that then going forward as well. That desire that we have to keep the ball out of the net. We have to have that desire to go and score a goal, and that comes from within, absolutely. But it also comes from as a team creating more and having that demand that when it goes forward that we go and score goals.
And we've talked about competition for places. It's now really thick and fast, the competition. You had Louis Epere back on the bench. Charlie Good was warming up prior to the game. They're there, they're knocking on the door. They'll not want to sit on the bench and sit on the sidelines for too long.
No, but the performances of people in the team is what keeps you in the team. The performances of Nathan Thompson and Carl Pirjani have been exemplary. They really have, and they've got a fantastic partnership. That's not to say that Dan Sweeney and Charlie Good aren't going to play, and Lewis Freestone missed the game because of a kick, but he's there knocking on the door. And the players that are in the team know that they have to perform. We're really, really strong defensively, absolutely. And they know that. You know, we're open and honest, and we have conversations with them to make sure that they understand that, and they do. They know football, but absolutely they're knocking on the door, because otherwise, if they're not, it's a problem. But we had a really good. We had a game here on Tuesday for the players that are coming back, and for the players that just need a little bit more. And their attitude was outstanding. Their attitude to work and do the right things, and having Kasky back and playing some minutes was excellent to see, and seeing him in full flow. So absolutely, there's competition. It's what we drive here, but it's also the players that are in the team that when they perform, and they perform to the levels that they have been, it's hard to knock them off. But they're there and waiting.
2 games as well this week, so the likelihood is that most will get a good chunk of playing time in at least one of them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the plan is we take Burton, because you never know what's going to happen. But obviously with Tuesday as well, in terms of in terms of looking forward, then we're getting players back, and that's the importance of staying in a cup. That when you're staying in and you've got a squad like us, with someone can step in and out and it doesn't weaken you. That's the importance of staying in it and making sure that it's game time for those players to go and show what they can do. And games like Tuesday helps, because it gets them into a more of a flow in terms of playing and understand and being on bigger areas. So they've had that now, and they've trained for the last couple of weeks. I think one of the biggest things for us is making sure that they're ready to play, which they are now. And it's great to have them back, and we'll pick Burton team to make sure that we perform and that we turn up and win. We want to win the game, absolutely, and then we'll take care of Tuesday with the players that we've got and that we think is right to go and win on Tuesday, because we want to stay in the cup. So, yeah, 2 games, 2 opportunities for people to go and show what they're about, and to make sure that they stay in the team.
One person who's not in the squad and won't be for the remainder of the season is Aaron Presley. He went out on loan to Borough today. Just your thoughts on it?
So I think for Aaron, that since he's come here, it's been quite frustrating for him in terms of injuries. Seems to get back in the mix and back to what we know Aaron can do, and then unfortunately got knocked again in this summer with his ankle injury, and then time's been limited for him. And the big thing for Aaron is that as a 9, I always think there's 2 real key positions, like goalkeeper and the number 9. You have to have consistency. You have to play games to get in your rhythm. And without playing, he's not going to get that opportunity. So we wanted him to go and play games. It's really important for him to play games and go and show people what he is as a person, what he is as a player. Go and show people what he can do. And then obviously after his loan, we can all sit down and look at how he's done and what the future holds for Aaron. But the most important thing is to go and let him play games. And he's gone to a really good club with a manager that wants him. When you're wanted by someone on loan, it really helps, because he's going there to play. And that was really important to him. But as far as Aaron's concerned, in terms of his attitude and his commitment to wanting to be the best, it's not in question at all. His attitude's been outstanding, but he just needs time and he needs some games to go and show what he can do. And that was the decision of us, along with Aaron and the people that are close to him, and it was an important move for him.
His departure, though, has left a gap in the squad, and as supporters, we're all expecting it to be filled. I'm sure you would love to fill it if you could with the right person. Is there anyone close, anyone in the crosshairs?
No, listen, we talk about people and we're looking at people, but I think that we've got a large squad, and you know we've now with Aaron going, absolutely it feels, you know, it creates a space, but we've also got Jake Forsakaski coming back, and we've got Louis Pia coming back. Sorry, so with Louis coming back, it's, you know, with Aaron going now, we gain Louis because we haven't seen the real Louis yet in terms of his injury and he's looked strong. But it's about us working with what we've got, for sure, because we've got a great group and they're really starting to, for me, they're really showing signs of really getting what we want and improving and coming together as a team. But absolutely, if there's people out there that we feel can help us in those, you know, in those forward areas, then absolutely we'll be looking, because facts telling us at the moment we're not scoring enough. And we need to improve that. So that's down to the work we do here, demand and accountability and responsibility on yourself, but also if there's people out there that we feel can obviously help the ones that we've got and make us better, absolutely we'll be looking at.